So you're gonna start. Okay, now we're live. So you can go ahead. You're always the introducer. You're the introducer, so you can start. Yeah.
So yeah, we're back with another live stream. Sorry that we're late. It's my fault.
Oh, we're only late like 5 minutes.
But yeah, this time it's my fault. The other times it was her fault, but now it's my fault. So.
Excuse me?
I think you said the wrong thing there.
And I do that all the time. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, we are here with Leaf, and we are very happy to have her. So Leaf, go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm
Leaf, also known as the Unapologetic Canadian, formerly known as Anti-Feminazi, but yeah, that's a story for another day.
Or it's a story for another day. How come you had to change your name on Facebook?
Because Facebook mods hated me. I found out which mod was constantly deleting my anti-feminazi Facebook pages. It was a overweight feminist who had a certificate in gender sensitivity training. I was like, oh, that would explain why she keeps deleting my pages. So I changed my name, hoping I would, fly under the radar from this fucking insane mod that seemed to have a personal vendetta against me and my page and other anti-feminist and anti-SJW pages. So I decided to rebrand. Kind of got tired of the anti-feminazi name too, not gonna lie, because anytime I tried to veer towards other political topics, people would be like, why aren't you posting about feminazis? Your page name is anti-feminazi. You should always be posting about feminazis. So I was like, no.
Then it's like you're like locked into one topic that you have to talk about all the time.
Yeah, and it was just, I couldn't really do it anymore. It was really annoying. I put a little disclaimer saying I would post about whatever I wanted, but now I think rebranding as a more general name instead of that's like basically focused on one topic, I could talk about more things without people like losing their shits and asking the same question over and over again.
Yeah, I think your name catches on though. Like that's a really unique name. So I think that was a good branding idea.
Yeah, thank you. I was discussing it. I was like, what should I do? What should I call myself now? Because people had known me for years as anti-feminazi. I mean, I've been told I was one of the first anti-feminazi pages on Facebook. I had at one point was the fastest one growing and had the most followers, and then I kept losing it. I was like, I'm over it. I'm rebranding. I'm gonna call myself a new thing, and then hopefully it works out. And I'm doing okay. I mean, a lot of people are having troubles finding me because I wasn't able to tell them that I had rebranded, but I'm sure eventually they'll figure it out.
Yeah, like 15,000 on Facebook. Like that's really good. How long have you been doing that? Because I assumed that you've been doing it for like maybe 2 years, but it sounds like you've been doing that for a while actually.
Or maybe 5 years now.
Oh wow, so you're like ahead of the game, because like I didn't even know what feminism was probably like 2 years ago. Maybe.
The reason I knew was because I had a teacher in sociology who was a feminist, and that was fun. We talked about test tube babies and that god awful wage gap that is totally real. By the way, it's totally not fake.
Oh my God, I believed that for years. Like I totally believed that for years. Like until I guess probably about a year ago. That's up until that point, I believed that the wage gap was real.
Until you actually look into it and actually
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, you know what? That makes sense because some of my male coworkers are getting paid less than me. That makes sense now.
I was like, the reason why I even became aware is because I was like, okay, wait, that doesn't sound right. So I looked it up because I was curious, and I found out that she was being very, very disingenuous, and I wasn't very happy about that because as a student you expect your teachers to be truthful with you, but no, I was like, what the heck? This isn't true. This is like bullshit. Like, because the first things I found were a bunch of sources debunking it. And this is back when I had the Facebook page Anti-Feminazi kind of just sitting there, and I wasn't really doing much with it. So I kind of just sat there for a bit. I went onto Tumblr because that was my original platform. Surprisingly, you know, it was filled with social justice warriors. It was filled with feminazis, but I went on there because I knew that was a place to go. That was going to be the place to ask these questions and see their reactions. And their first reactions to me, even questioning feminism, was, "I hope you get raped by straight men, because then you're gonna come crawling to feminism," and just comments like that. I was like, okay. Because I didn't consider myself a feminist, but I was like, should I be considering myself one, or should I not be? I was like questioning it, and I questioned it, and they fucking came at my throat. I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely not gonna be a feminist ever, and that's what started me down the path of speaking out against these radical feminists, because I was like, well, someone has to, because I mean, this is obviously going to be a problem. And I was criticized heavily at first by my own friends, even saying, well, you post about the feminists too much, you criticize them too much, they have no effect on the real world. I'm like, but they do, you're just not seeing it. And so when they started criticizing me, I said, okay, so how many people would follow a page if I had one where I criticize this stuff? And my friends said, oh, I'll follow you. I was like, okay. So I made the page, and it started growing. Like, it blew up really fast, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this got a lot more attention than I intended it to, because initially it was supposed to just be, you know, for a few friends to follow who liked my rants, but it grew and grew and grew, and one day it was at, like, you know, it started growing past 70,000 followers, and I was like, a lot more attention than I intended it. So I started preparing a live stream for 80,000 followers, because I was really excited. And as soon as I hit 76,000, Facebook was like, hey, we're taking your page down. Bye. Oh, by the way, we're deleting it and all the content that was on it for the past few years.
Well, that's just because it doesn't fit, like, the mainstream narrative. So I guess
I was
that's really that's really crazy. I mean, first of all, I think, like, the reason why you gained so much traction in the beginning is because you're one of the first ones to speak out about it. So, and I mean, it's kind of like common sense, but you're trying to push feminism as common sense, but then when you actually think about it, it doesn't make any sense, right?
No, it doesn't. And you know, the people that were telling me before that they have no effect on the real world are now looking and saying, well, these people are crazy. Look, they're here, and here. They're in the schools. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're all over the place now.
I was like, that was always a thing, but you're just starting to notice now, and you were always telling me they had no effect on the real world, but in reality they did, and they have for a while. It's just people didn't notice because people either were aware, or they just didn't care, or they believed what they were being told and didn't really ask questions because they were being taught this by teachers. And, you know, again, as a student, you just expect your teachers to be truthful with you and to be giving you the facts. Because nobody warned me about sociology. So if I had been warned, I might have not have taken it. But then again, I might not be here if I hadn't. But no, sociology was my university entrance course, and so I kind of expected a university teacher to be, you know, truthful, and they weren't. They were just beating bullshit.
Yeah, so it was basically the wage gap, and also feminism in general that kind of pushed you over the edge, or were there other incidents?
I think it was more like what really I think pushed me over the edge was the feminists telling me that I deserved to be raped, and that telling me that they hope.
Yeah, because nothing says feminism more than being raped by men.
I was like, what? They're like, we want you to come crawling to feminism, so we hope you get raped. I was like, what?
If you had any doubts before, it's like, well, now I know for sure that I'm not going to be like you guys.
Yeah, that was what really pushed me away from feminism. And then people started, I talked to some feminists who weren't, you know, off their fucking rockers, who were like, well, those aren't real feminists. I was like, yeah, but you're kind of ignoring the problem here.
Those weren't real. That's not real socialism.
It's not real feminism.
That's a really pet argument to make.
I know, right? Because they're not really denouncing those people. They're just kind of saying, like, oh, just don't pay attention to them. Just, like, forget about that part, but listen to our part, you know. It's not like, oh, they're actually wrong. This is not. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're, and a lot of things that are, I guess, radical feminism is becoming more mainstream now. And it wasn't that prominent a couple of years ago, but now I totally see it coming into
I think even in second wave feminism, it was becoming more clear that it was a field with a lot of fucking crazies, and by third wave, I think people are like, oh, now I see it. Now I see what you mean. And I'm just like, well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of been like under the surface, and you just, I don't know, it's more in the spotlight now because mainstream media started covering it. But before, it really wasn't mainstream media. It was just a small group of people saying, hey, look at what's happening. Look at what's going on. This is nuts. Why aren't more people talking about this?
Oh, do I have something to say now?
Oh, I thought you would because you took the microphone.
No, I was just yeah. I don't know. It's funny because I don't know. Feminism is like I don't know. There's some things about feminism that's okay, I guess, but then there's other times like you're both saying how it's just so toxic, and the end game just seems to be the complete elimination of men in general.
Well, there was a time where I still had my big page, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something good. Instead of constantly complaining on the internet about these feminists, I'm gonna do something for my community. So I raised money for a men's shelter, obviously with the help of my followers, and I somehow one day caught the attention of Cat Black. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's a fairly well-known social justice warrior, and she to me because her page had popped up in my suggested pages to like thing, and I screen capped it and posted it on my page. I was like, no, like, why is Facebook always trying to get me to like these kinds of pages? Like, I'm not a feminist, I'm not a social justice warrior. Cat Black came along and started going through my page, and she found out I was raising money for the men's shelter, and her comment was something along the lines of, LOL, this would just be a place for men to go play their video games. In reality, the men's shelter was helping men who struggle with... Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, like, that her comment is really insensitive.
Yeah, and I was just saying, hey, men playing video games, that sounds good to me. I go to that place.
but I know the men's shelter was actually helping men who struggle with drug addiction, helping them get jobs. They had workshops where they could teach them some skills, helped them with alcoholism, helped them with abusive situations. They've also helped men who have been victims of rape or molestation. Not just men, like teenage boys too. So it was there to help men and to help them, I guess, up on their feet, because a lot of them were like homeless, or they were dealing with abusive partners, or again, drug addiction, alcoholism, or just the fact that they'd been raped or molested had a huge impact on them. So the shelter is kind of there to help them. So when Cat Black said that it was just for men to play video games, I lost my shit on her. I blew up on her, and she ended up actually apologizing.
Oh wow. Well, that's kind of surprising, actually, that she ended up apologizing.
Yeah. That was, it kind of caught me off guard, because I was so pissed. I was like, how fucking dare you? How dare you sit here and not even read into anything? You just make judgments off of a GoFundMe page that I had set up. And two, like what the heck? Like, why would you just assume that a men's shelter there to help men would be even just for them to go play video games? Do you seriously think that's what it was about? I mean, I put a lot of time into raising this money. I've met the director of the men's shelter. She did invite me to speak in front of a board, but I couldn't do that. Like, I would be a nervous wreck. But she offered. She thanked me in person. I got a letter from her that was written by her and signed as like evidence that I had made the donation. But
so that was, you raised that on your Facebook page before you got right?
She was actually had sat down in her office because I had to go to the women's shelter because she runs both, and she said a lot of her female colleagues at her previous job had criticized her for wanting to make a men's shelter. It's one of the only ones in Canada, and I think one of the only ones in North America, actually. So there's not a lot. And,
probably. I've been watching some of the documentaries on this, and there aren't very many men's shelters at all, like compared to women's shelters.
There's tons of shelters for women, but no. So I was like, you know what? Women's shelter get a lot of financial support. Had been one in Canada a while ago, but feminists pushed for the government to stop funding it, and the government stopped funding it, and the dude who ran it, who created the shelter for men, he killed himself afterwards.
Oh, what a great result. I'm sure they were happy about that.
Oh, yeah. But so when I knew about that story, and I had been looking for a men's shelter that I could raise money for a while, because I had tried it a year before that, but then I found out that you needed a Canadian bank account, because I was just going to do it. I was like, okay, whatever, maybe they'll just pay it up through PayPal, and I'll get someone living in Scotland to do it, because at the time I was working with someone from Scotland, and he said, hey, there's one here. I was like, okay, so we'll do it in Scotland then. But they're going, no, you need a Canadian bank account. I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work, because I didn't have a bank account at the time. So I refunded everybody, and then one day I got a bank account. I was like, you know, I'm going to try this again. So I tried it again, and my goal was I think $1,000, and I raised that within 3 days.
Oh, that's nice.
I thought it would take longer than a few days, but I raised over 1,000. But GoFundMe takes a fee, and I think it's called WePay or whatever. There's two things. So the GoFundMe takes a fee, and then they transfer the money into another account, which then transfers your money into a bank account. But whatever they transfer the charity money to first, they take a fee from you as well. So you're losing quite a fair chunk of money off each donation. And it's not just like one time like percentage. No, they take a percentage off every single donation you get.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it was hard. I was like, when I figured that out, I was like, I wish there was a way to raise the money without having to deal with this stupid fee. And I was like, well, the people were like, well, why don't you do it through PayPal? I was like, I don't want to do it through PayPal because it's harder to document through there. It's easier to just document it through GoFundMe, because it will tell you every single donation. It shows it publicly. The public can keep track, so you don't get accused of scamming or lying or whatever. It's just easier, I think, to avoid the accusations, despite the fact that, if I did it again, people would probably trust me because I've done it before and I've provided evidence for it that I donated.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're able to do that.
I'm actually looking to do it again soon. I think maybe June, July, I'm going to start it up again.
Okay, yeah, let us know, because we'll definitely promote that then.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's funny because a lot of people are all about women's rights and gay rights and lesbian rights, and that's fine. Be for that. That's no problem. But then men just completely get pushed aside, and nobody gives a fuck about men anymore. And it's kind of a scary time for men. That's why you see like a lot of the men's rights movements now. Because when you think about it, that whole movement was kind of, I don't know if it was like exactly the answer to all this crazy feminism, or if it was even here before that, but it's definitely a lot stronger because of that. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
I think there needs to be more men's shelter. I think women and gays, I think they get enough help. They get enough donations. Fucking everybody's always donating to that shit.
Yeah, so like, what if a man loses a testicle, and so now what? Like, I guess you're finding it for yourself,
That's so random. What the hell?
No, think about it. There's the breast cancer. There's breast cancer awareness. There's no testicular cancer awareness. That's
prostate cancer.
Yeah, prostate cancer. That's
prostate cancer research.
Yeah, but there's no breast cancer awareness month or something, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's because I guess don't really know. I guess women's issues are considered more important now, but we're still oppressed,
Yeah, you guys get all the help, from communities and charity and all that. But holy shit, you guys get a ton of money.
Sorry about that. Hangout's kind of just like fucking decided
No,
to
it's fine.
That's fine. We went on a
crash
monologue, so
like always. There we go.
I was just talking. Yeah, I was just talking regular.
We just went on a monologue, so that kind of worked out. We were talking about how women's issues seem to have like really high importance nowadays, and then men's issues just kind of turn out to be
just pushed aside
or laughed at, basically.
Yeah, or it's definitely not as important. Or you talk about, hey, I'm raising money for men's issues, or they'll automatically think you're a sexist and that you hate women, and blah 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 and all that bullshit.
Oh my god, I saw something today. Okay, I saw something today about how the Boy Scouts is becoming gender neutral.
Yeah, they're getting rid of the boy in Boy Scouts.
Yeah. So one of my friends was fighting with a feminist about this, and so he said well, sometimes men need to have time alone where they can learn skills as men out in the forest and stuff. And so then the woman goes, well, you don't think that girls need girl time? How dare you? And I'm like, what does that have to do?
Yeah, because boys don't need a father figure around in their lives.
I just want to know why, instead of asking, hey, can we implement some of the stuff they do in Boy Scouts into Girl Scouts? That would be nice. And they're like, no, let's just take over. Let's take over Boy Scouts instead. I was like,
but Girl Scouts get to keep their name Girl Scouts, but Boy Scouts doesn't become Scouts USA or some bullshit.
Just wait. Girl Scouts will be considered sexist soon because they're promoting gender roles or something. I don't know. Just watch. It will happen. I'm telling you.
Yeah, gender roles when they're making they're knitting in the fucking trees or some shit.
I was in Girl Scouts. Were you in Girl Scouts?
Nope.
Okay, I was in. Do that. This is the dumbest reason to be in there, but I was in it because I wanted the badges that you can sew on your vest.
I'm getting another beer.
Okay. I like the way the badges looked, so I was like, I'm gonna join Girl Scout, even though I was a super shy kid and I hated everyone, but I just wanted to be in it to get the badges. And the stuff we did wasn't really that. I don't know. It wasn't that girly or anything like that. We just made fundraisers and stuff and sold cookies, basically.
You can make bank selling cookies. I don't know why they complained about that. They were teaching. You're just teaching girls how to be housewives. I was like, no. Do you know how much skills it takes to sell stuff? That Girl Scout that stood outside a marijuana shop and sold her cookies. That's genius. She probably made so much money doing that.
That's that is literally genius. Wait, where was that at? Was that in Colorado?
I can't even remember. Somewhere where it's legal and they have a lot of shops, I'm assuming. But that's intelligence. How can you sit here and be like, this is just for girls? It's like no, that's really smart. That's teaching you very valuable skills, like marketing skills, people skills. How to speak to people and how to properly fucking sell stuff to them, and being smart enough to know, okay, what people are gonna buy this product the most. That's not something that's girly.
I remember having to go door to door. This was back in the day. Now I feel old, but I would go door to door with my fellow Girl Scouts and try to sell cookies all around the neighborhood, and it wasn't easy because first of all, I'm terrified at talking to people, so it kind of forced me to talk to people. So I don't know what they're talking about when they're thinking that Girl Scouts is sexist or something, or Boy Scouts is sexist, because I don't see what the difference is going to be, because they almost do the same thing. They just do things that's geared towards what people are interested in, We still did camping trips and stuff like that. Same thing with Boy Scouts, so I don't know.
I blame the parents. I don't blame the little tiny child that wanted to do stuff similar to Boy Scouts. I blame the parents for brainwashing the children to begin with, making them think that they need to take over spaces for guys. I mean, Boy Scouts was a space for dudes. That I think they deserve one. Like they deserve to have times around other boys without girls around. I mean, girls have their own thing. You don't see boys trying to join Girl Scouts. You don't see them allowing guys in there. Like, if you're gonna do this, at least apply the same thing to both.
I think boys should start playing softball.
From what I've heard, there's a pretty big division between Girl Scouts and what will soon no longer be Boy Scouts right now because of this. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that aren't happy about this.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of political pressure that's making them do it.
I don't like. There was like segregation is always bad. It's like sometimes you need a little bit of segregation. It's not always a bad thing.
Isn't that kind of weird though that they're all about equality and all inclusion and everything, but in reality, the way that they operate, it doesn't look like that at all. Because now they're trying to like I was saying before about men and all that. They're trying to push men's all their issues aside. Who gives a fuck about men?
Well, you're the one
How are you gonna make a kid? Oh, that's right. You need a guy for that.
Wasn't there
Actually, they were talking about what the hell? There's this new thing where you don't even need a dude's sperm to create babies anymore. Like you could women were talking about reproducing with themselves because I think it's in the spine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
There
good
was
one.
really the babies will turn out fine.
In the spine, there's some kind of material in the
Hold
spine.
On, I'm gonna look it up real quick, just see, because I can't remember what it was.
Speaking of that, have you heard of I don't know, that MGTOW was talking about artificial wombs? I'm are you kidding me? People are gonna
yeah.
You're not gonna be completely segregated.
See, that's the complete opposite of the other spectrum.
Artificial wombs are a thing. What I don't see. I mean, I could see why some people might think it's bad, but it could also help for women who are unable to carry a child, themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just
so there's some pros and cons.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people will use it for the right reasons.
You would hope so, but
not use it for social engineering. I don't know.
Okay, so it's bone marrow that there was a study saying that you can turn bone marrow into sperm, which would allow women to reproduce without a man.
So okay. I'm wondering, is it bone marrow from a lesbian couple, from the other women, or is it from yourself that you can kind of clone?
It would essentially be from yourself.
That's creepy, because wouldn't that basically be cloning?
I don't even know, man. That'd be really weird. I don't know how solid the science is on this, but there was actual scientific studies on this, but who knows how accurate they are. They could just be fucking bullshitting people, or there could be a lot wrong with doing that. I'm pretty sure there's something that they weren't saying. There could be something severely wrong, a lot of birth defects. Maybe not even being able to carry the baby to term. There's no way that this is a good idea to use your own bone marrow to reproduce with yourself.
How is that impossible?
I don't know. You use your own DNA to
What do you smash the bone marrow into the egg or something?
I don't know.
How does that even work? You see the scientists or the doctors, when you in the microphone, you see how they artificially inseminate an egg, So there's no artificially inseminate, but with bone marrow, instead they put it inside. It's what are you doing?
It's cloning. We're gonna make an army of women. I wonder though, if you clone yourself, or if you use the bone marrow to implant the egg, will it come out as as a female.
Would you imagine if they
will it only come out as a female?
Could you imagine if they cloned you and it looked exactly like you? I'm like, I don't know which one is which.
If that happens, I feel like, okay, it's time to kill it.
Like, you know those movies where they're like, you gotta kill the right one. I don't know which one it is. And then you hope for the best. That you should just shoot one and hope for the best. That's the right one.
Well, it'll be younger than you, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it looks exactly like you though. It looks exactly like you, acts just like you, because apparently it's your clone.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't.
I don't know. Maybe one of your eyes is like droopy or something. I don't know. So that's how I know. Oh fuck, that one eye like really messed up and fucked up. Okay, I know which one's the wrong one.
Okay, never mind. I give up.
I could read an article because I have one pulled up.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, fertility specialists have found a way for women to have babies without men. It involves a cocktail of chemicals acting as an artificial sperm to trick a human egg into forming an embryo. The stunning discovery has alarmed medical ethics campaigners who described it as turning nature on its head. Researchers say the groundbreaking technology could be used to help women whose husbands are infertile, but who do not want to use donor sperm. Any babies born from the process would be female and genetically identical to their mother. Taken to its extreme, it could lead to science fiction nightmares of female-dominated society where men have little or no role. The news also creates a legal minefield for the UK authorities, which govern fertility treatments, because British laws do not cover the creation of an embryo without sperm. The discovery was made by researchers from the Institute for Reproductive Medicine and Genetics in Los Angeles. They were investigating new ways of genetically modifying embryos to grow into brain nerve cells in order to give transplants to patients with Parkinson's disease. Their experiments with mice triggered a form of asexual reproduction, which until now, okay, I can't even pronounce what they said. Genesis? I don't fucking know. I'm bad with words. Which until now only happened in creatures such as insects and frogs. Huh.
To me, that sounds like exact cloning, because they said it would look like an exact.
Like, you know how they made Dolly the sheep?
Yeah. So it would be the same gender too. So they would be cloning just females then, which would overpopulate.
You know, because again, fuck men. Not literally, but.
Yeah, in this case,
well,
not
I guess
literally.
Not in the sexual way, but in the destroy them all. Fuck you if you die. Cross my heart. Hope to die.
I've seen a lot of accounts like that, and I'm like, do people actually think like that? I don't know.
Well, then there are feminists out there who understand the horrors of that, like extreme, feminism. Like, I guess Christina Summers is one of them. She's a feminist, but she's not like
Yeah, but she's like sane,
Well, that's what I'm saying though. There are those who are like that. They're sane. They're not like this crazy,
Hardly any.
Yeah, wage gap is real, and even though you're making more money than a lot of the guys that you work with, which is kind of crazy, because then there's a wage gap between, why aren't the men protesting? Hey, there's a wage gap. She's making more money than me. We need to be equal.
There's a wage gap in porn. Female porn stars often make more money than males.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't ask how I know this. I don't even watch porn. I just know.
No. I mean, you don't even really have. I mean, think about it logically. You don't even have to really watch porn. Even know.
It's kind of like a logical conclusion,
Yeah, I mean, who do most people, even the women, who do they want to go see? They want to see the women. The women are more popular. I mean, more porn stars are women than men. I mean, Stormy Daniels. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it would be because not the majority of the population is generally straight, so people are going to look at straight porn, not gay porn. Right.
They're like, oh, I've never had that kind of sex before. What is it like? in the porn way, because let's face it, porn is not real, obviously. So.
I mean, some of them use like fucking fake dicks, and they all have, a lot of porn stars have fake titties. They're often encouraged to get plastic surgery. And
it's kind of like the K-pop industry. They're encouraged to get plastic surgery.
Well, yeah, that's different.
Not fake.
I didn't know about the fake dicks part. What are you talking about? I didn't know about this. Is that a real thing?
Like them being encouraged to get plastic surgery, and there being like fake dicks. Yeah.
I knew about like the women's like get plastic surgery thing, but I didn't know about the men's part.
Men, well, their dick is like, I don't fucking know. I think some of it, like, it's partially made of, like, they have this, like, it's like an extension, I guess. It's partially, like, made of plastic and shit. It's like...
Okay, I didn't know that was a... Okay. I thought it was only on the women. I don't know.
Hey, I mean,
there's steroids.
Who's the straight woman gonna get fucked by a 3-inch dick? I mean, come on, let's face it, come on.
3. Okay, we're getting into weird.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyways.
Any stream that has
I know a lot of weird things. I talk to a lot of interesting people. So
what's the weirdest thing you know? That, well, to you, I want to know what the weirdest thing that you know. Please let us know.
Where do I even begin?
Weirdest thing you've ever seen?
Weirdest thing I've ever seen, or weirdest thing that someone's ever told me?
Both.
The weirdest thing someone's ever told me.
Both.
Yeah, both.
Give us both.
Okay, the weirdest thing someone has ever told me was that they fucked a horse and how they fucked the horse.
Like, for real? Like,
I'm being serious. I wish I was.
And what did they say? What did they say? What's their name? What's their name so I can talk to them and give them some mental advice?
I don't know their name. It was like when I was like 15 on this chat site, and some dudes was talking about like fucking a horse. So I started calling him horse fucker. It caught on, and he like vanished from the internet after being called horse fucker for years, even after I started calling him it.
You know those rooms with video games, that men go to. That's probably his username. He uses horsefucker as his username to when he plays.
Well, why would he leave if his name was horsefucker? And
his name wasn't horsefucker. I just gave him that nickname, and he got upset because his.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, he was a guy?
Yeah, he told me how he like he's. I don't know what they remember. I don't remember what they used to breed.
That's I don't know. That's just.
That is kind of crazy though. Like he went in detail. Like, hey, this is what I did. And
well, I mean, he said he put the female horse on whatever the hell they used to breed them. Just like, and then after that, he's like, I'm still a virgin though. I was like,
Yeah, you're still a virgin though. All right.
Yeah, because that probably would be a good thing to say when you're on your first date. So, you're a virgin? Well, I did fuck a horse one time. Okay, bye.
I was like, why would you even admit to doing that? Just no. He was like shunned after everybody found out. He got shunned from that whole group of people. Like they just like nobody wanted anything to do with him.
Was that on a forum or was that on Discord?
Not on Discord. It was on, I guess you could call it like a forum, I guess. It was just this like small little site made by some students from Harvard. And it was like they had chat rooms in that, and like you had your own profiles, and it was similar, I guess, to a really cheap version of Facebook, because at the time I didn't want a Facebook. But yeah, that was the weirdest thing I've ever been told.
Could you this just reminded me of it. Like when you were younger, did you go on like before social media became like a thing? Were you really active on like forums and message boards and stuff like that? Because
I actually kind of was. Like I wasn't. I mean, I avoided Facebook like the plague for years, but I was on other forms of, I guess, social media around, and so I knew people. I made some good friends from them. I don't really talk to a lot anymore. I message a few of them like once every few months, and then I'm like, okay, well, nice talking to you. See you again in a few months.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is for me too. Or what kind of forums are you on? Because I was on like, J-pop or K-pop forums back in the day when that's how we shared music, and it would take like an hour to download one song.
I used to first, I started off with a MSN Messenger, and then I went on to this thing called airg.com, which I don't. It's still around, but they turned it. It used to be like a gaming site with like gaming forums, and then they had a music section, a news section, but then they like turned it into like a dating site, which is a big reason why I stopped using it.
Oh yeah.
What about MySpace?
I actually never used MySpace. I thought it was for scene kids, so I avoided it.
I used MySpace because, you know, I thought I was one of the cool kids. Outside like you, though, I was like, Facebook, that's a piece of shit. And then, of course...
Like, I don't know. MySpace just seemed to be filled with a lot of those scene kids, so it was like, this seems really dumb. It seems like a lot of emos and scene kids, so I'm gonna just not... I found out later that it was not just emos and scene kids.
It's kind of funny because when I went to Facebook, I said the same thing about Twitter. I was like, Twitter is a piece of shit. And now, you know, I use Twitter more often than Facebook, and, you know, who knows how long it's going to last.
Yeah, it's funny because, well, I never used MySpace. Well, first of all, because I wasn't allowed to, because I was really restricted, like, when I was a kid. But, yeah, when I saw Twitter, I was like, I don't understand the point of this. Like, what's the point? You put out, like, what, 150 characters of whatever you're thinking about? Like, this is dumb. And now, like, now it's my biggest platform.
Yeah, because, I mean, you get to talk to, you know, big-name people or quote-unquote big-name people, you know, that you wouldn't otherwise. To me, that's the cool thing about it, because, I mean, I get to talk to people that I never would have been able to ever. So to me, that's the best thing about Twitter is, hey, I get to have conversations with people that I never would be able to in person or, you know, in real life. I mean, you know. And I've actually become good friends with some people because of Twitter, so you included.
I used to be well, more how do I put this? I guess social with people in like within the, I guess I started off with the Facebook community. It was a small group of page admins who helped each other out and stuff. And I was good up until they found out about these links where this site, I should say, where you could write articles or grab articles written by them or other people and post them on your pages and make a lot of money. And people started getting greedy and they started stealing each other's pages. They started stabbing each other in their back. And that's when I kind of like, I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of done with people. So I kind of withdrew like a lot. Like, I don't talk to most of them because most of them have either stolen pages from me or screwed me over in some other way. I had one page. I was making $800 a week off of it, and someone who I'd been friends with for like 4 years before that just said, "Yeah, I'm gonna put a rat on your computer. I'm gonna keylog you, and I'm gonna steal your page, name change it for my shitty band page, and I'm gonna deny stealing it."
You had other pages before your Unapologetic Medium page then?
I had anti-feminazi, anti-hipster, let me ruin your childhood was my page. That got stolen from me. Elsa the Snow Queen, that got stolen from me. Disney pages were huge before. They were the most popular pages. They got the most shares. They got the most likes, and you made the most money.
Are you like a marketer or something? Like, how do you know all this?
I've been involved with Facebook pages, like, as a whole since 2012. So I know.
Look at our Facebook page.
I know our Facebook page is sad, and I'm not allowed to share anything because apparently it's too offensive to my family to share.
Oh, rip! I know all the trends. I know what posts get the most likes. I know how to get. If I'm bored and I want to increase a post views without giving Facebook my shekels, I just do something to piss people off, because things that make people mad will always get the most shares, the most attention, the most comments. Even if you're getting ratioed, like, a lot of people see that as a bad thing, but on Facebook, even if you're getting ratioed, it doesn't matter. It's a good thing, because them commenting and getting mad and them sharing with their friends, look at this, it's giving you activity. It's making that post appear in other people's newsfeed. So when one person comments on it, their friends will see it, their friends comment it, and those friends will see it, and it just keeps going.
The one thing about Facebook though that scares me is, like, a lot of people use their real name. So, like, I don't have a Facebook page that's just for, like, my online personality. So I have one that's for, like, people I know in real life, and so I can't share anything on Facebook because well, first of all, almost everybody who I know is like really, really left wing, and or like, I guess they would be offended by everything that I would want to talk about.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything. And then when I try to share stuff that's about my YouTube channel, then, you know, it would be considered offensive to my extended family, so I can't. So I'm kind of limited. So I don't know, maybe I should create a alternate Facebook profile.
I have three accounts, and only one of them uses, well, half my real name, because I've tricked Facebook into thinking 2 accounts are legit. I got someone to help me make a fake ID for one of them, and then I used my real ID for another, but I cropped out part of my real name to make them think that I had my full name on there. So now 2 accounts are verified. There's a third account I have that's not like verified, but it's okay because I don't use it for posting. I just use it for pages, and Facebook hasn't really caught on to that account even existing. So I'm good.
I don't put my real name on my real Facebook either, just in case people from Twitter find me, because I don't want it to trace back to me.
I've been threatened before. Someone who stalked me online for a couple of years said they were going to, or if they ever found out where I lived, they would come and slit my throat. So it was like, yeah, no. You're crazy. And they said the funniest thing. They said that I was a horrible human being who did not deserve to live. One of their friends was like, "Well, what did she do?" And they were like, their immediate answer, "Well, she hasn't done anything to me."
Wow. Okay.
Yay! You're nuts. I still have the screenshots. There's this chick, Nocturnus Libertarius or whatever. I don't remember her fucking real name. She's infamous for that picture of her wiping her ass with the American flag, though.
I know who you're talking about.
Wiping her ass.
She came. she came to. She found out about. She said she's going to get my account taken down and my page taken down and another page I had been taking down. She made a post about it in a group. And someone's like, I'm kind of scared of her, like me referring to me. They were scared of me. Like, what if she finds out? And Nocturnus was like, don't worry, we'll remain anonymous. I had all of their names in that screenshot. I posted it too. And they backed off. All the people that were going to support her immediately backed off. I was laughing. It was so funny to me. It's like, don't worry, we'll remain anonymous. Oh, really now? Because I have all of your names.
Great job of remaining anonymous when you have all your real names there. Wow. Speaking of becoming anonymous, you've done a pretty good job staying anonymous.
More or less. I mean, people. There's a total of like 3 people who know online that I've met online that know my full name and actually they know my address, but they're people who would never leak that information. Like I've had falling outs with one of them a couple of times, and even when we had our falling out, he didn't leak my address. Another one, we're not even friends anymore, really. Like he blew up on me one day because I didn't bash on Siobhan Head, which he wanted me to do. He kept criticizing her. Yeah, he doesn't like her, and he was making some comments about her. So I asked for evidence, and he flipped shit on me and blocked me. But even after that, like my address never got leaked by him either. So
that's good.
I mean,
so I guess to stay anonymous or whatever, but you live in Canada. Are you in Quebec or no? I just want to know.
No, I'm not in Quebec.
People I know in Quebec, so that's what I'm just wondering.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't live in. I don't live in the Frenchy part of Canada, the fake part of Canada.
Oh no, I know a lot of people.
No, I'm kidding. I met some cool people from Quebec. Like Bunty. Bunty's a cool dude. So.
And I think Roaming is from there, and someone else. Who else is from there? There's Bunty, Roaming, and who else?
I don't know. I can't remember.
There's someone else.
Someone else.
Sorry. Oh wait, sorry. David Van Keur. He's.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's
true Canuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that other Frenchie that is okay. JF. His accent's really fucking thick though. Holy smokes! It's really hard to understand what he's saying sometimes.
Is that typical for people from Quebec? Like, do they have
that were our native Quebecs that were like born there? And yeah, they generally the two things about the Frenchies is they have thick accents and they talk really fast, so it's really hard to understand them. Well, in French, because I took French here where I live. But it wasn't the same as it is in Quebec because since their accents are so thick, it's harder to understand when they speak French, and they talk faster, so it's like hard to keep up.
But you can understand them because you took French, or
I can understand most. I forgot a lot of my French because I didn't really keep up with it. Because after elementary school, I went to a junior high school that didn't offer French. So by the time I went to high school, I was like a few years behind in French, and I tried to join French again, but it was such hard to keep up when you're behind a few years and on the level that you should be at.
I wish I would have taken French. Like the classes that they offered in American schools, they offer you either French or Spanish, and I'm like, well, I already know part of the Spanish, so I might as well just continue with Spanish. But the funny thing is that I would cheat on my Spanish test by writing in Japanese on my arm, so I would know the answers to the
I took Spanish in junior high, and sorry, my mind's kind of like all over the place. No, but I took Spanish in junior high because there was no French, and I got like 100% because like once you know French, you can learn pretty much any language easily. And since French and Spanish are similar to each other, it was just I picked things up fast. But the Spanish word for black, like some of my classmates got quite upset because the Spanish word for black is a word that they actually, an English word too, I guess, that they used to refer to blacks as. It's Negro, and a lot of people don't like that. They say it's racist. Say it's racist towards blacks.
Yeah, we're gonna change the language because it's racist. Yeah, we're gonna change the language.
Well, it's already happening in English, so I don't know what you're.
Yeah, but they're not gonna come on. Spanish, come on, really. They have male and female ways of speaking in Spanish. Come on, they're really come on.
Well, that's offensive.
Like
now,
la luna, el luna, that kind of thing. Owen Benjamin's joke.
Yeah. I can't see them changing like gendered language just because of that. But
so there are a couple of questions in the chat that I want to ask you. And if you don't know the answer, it's fine. But one question says, "What is the obsession with wanting to get people taken off social media?" What's your opinion on that?
I think because of how PC people want to be nowadays, instead of just using that nifty little feature called a block button or mute button, or hide from newsfeed, depending what platform you use, they'd rather just say, well, I don't agree with you, so let's get you taken off social media because I don't want to see this, and I don't think you should be allowed to say this because it hurts my feelings. That's what that obsession is. It's because people think that their feelings are the most important thing in the world. They think that they're entitled to live in a world where nobody ever hurts their feelings or nothing is ever said that offends them. And I blame, again, parents, because we're not just nobody's disciplining their kids anymore. That you discipline your child, and it's called child abuse now. I think if you notice when they started calling spanking child abuse, kids started being more and more disrespectful. Back then, when even like teachers were allowed to discipline kids, they were fucking respectful. They didn't. They worked hard. They got good grades. They didn't backtalk, and if they did, they got smacked. And now you can't do that because you'll have CPS called on you.
Yeah, that sounds really Asian the way you said that, but I feel like a lot of parents just kind of are fighting the teachers now of like what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So probably, I think you're right. Like people just feel super entitled, and it's like inflated to the point where they think that they can just talk about it openly, like, let's just ban this person because it offends my feelings, or it offends like they talk on behalf of like an entire group of people, which doesn't make any sense because everybody's an individual. So, but they think that that's acceptable now.
Yeah, that's so. I think it's just like lack of discipline, and that because of that, they gain this sense of like, you know, entitlement, and believe that they're told they're special, and they're told that their feelings matter. And I mean, in a sense, sometimes your feelings do matter, but in real and like if you look at the bigger picture, most of the time your feelings really aren't relevant, unless you're talking to someone like, you know, like a close friend or, you know, family. That then they're gonna matter. But like some random person generally isn't gonna care that you're offended by a fact, or by a joke, or by something they said that you just don't like.
So another question in the chat is, did you go to college, and what's your opinion on college?
I actually was considering it before this social justice war shit started happening, and then I found out they were like invading universities and stuff, and I was like, no, I'll just do online courses. So I did that. I mean, I did take a university entrance course, but I took that when I was still in high school, and that was my sociology course. It was my university class, and I think that left kind of gave me a bad experience with university in general. Just having that experience of doing the entrance course, and having a kind of a feministy teacher, and then hearing that was, oh look, there's a lot of these professors in universities doing this stuff. I was like, oh well, that doesn't sound fun. I'll stick to online courses. So I'll go online. I'll usually do language courses. I took a university course that was based in Oslo, which is in Norway. So I learned some Norwegian.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't have to deal with social justice warrior professors or feministy professors, because, you know, they weren't teaching that. I tried to do a coding course, but that kind of broke my computer, so I had to stop with coding because they were teaching how to code in Java. And I think coding is becoming a more essential skill, because a lot of jobs now, there are a lot of employers, they're looking for people who know how to code, who are computer smart, and I think it's an essential skill. Maybe not coding in Java. I might try learning to code in Python at one point when I have a computer again.
Yeah, because like my younger sister, I think she just turned 19. So she's in her first year of college, and she went for computer science, like specifically coding, like back-end coding, you know, like the really hard stuff. And she's actually thinking about dropping out of college because she said a lot of the stuff that she's learning is not like essential to actually being there. Like a lot of the things she could learn online or with an online professor, because
I
like, you know, like
yes, online route
courses, you know, like she said, like one of her courses that she has to take is English, which doesn't have anything to do with coding, and her professor insists on using the she pronoun for everything. Like he's like a super male feminist, you know. It's just kind of like a parody now. So she's thinking about dropping out because she's like, why am I paying all this money to go to university when I could just learn this on my own?
Someone keeps I see that the someone has more than once brought up what kind of porn I watch, and a lot of porn questions. I don't watch porn. I tried once when I was younger. Yeah, that is true. I did. It was really awkward and weird, and I don't like porn. Well, okay,
Yeah.
Look. Imagine being curious about porn. So you just find one random video and look at it because, you know, you want to know what the big hype over it is. And the first thing the guy says in it is, "Don't laugh at my small penis." I burst out laughing.
What?
I was so funny.
Now, what kind of porn were you watching?
I just went on to Pornhub and clicked on the first video I saw. Like, I didn't read what it said. I was just like, okay, what's this? So I clicked, and The dude was like, "Don't laugh at my small penis." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm laughing," and porn is retarded. So after that, I was like, I'm never watching porn again. Never watched porn again. Because even the concept of porn to me in general is just weird. I mean, you're watching other people have sex. Like, that's weird. It's really weird.
It's kind of like, why would you watch other people have sex when you can just do it yourself? I don't know, like,
I don't.
It's sad, you know.
I haven't had sex, so I wouldn't know. I just.
Oh, really?
I'm just not gonna. I could stay a virgin for the rest of my life if I wanted to. I'd be okay with that.
I don't know if I believe that, but okay. We'll go move on.
Oh yeah, another question that was on the Facebook.
On the Facebook, you mean the YouTube chat?
On the YouTube chat. Sorry. It's funny because it was actually about Facebook. How did you learn so much about Facebook advertising?
Just by being on Facebook a lot and dealing, because when I got into pages, you know, you learn.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So no, but like, you know, when you're on Facebook, you're dealing with the pages a lot. And so you learn, I guess, the trends. You notice certain things. You notice what's popular, what's not, what gets the most attention, what doesn't, what kind of things do well. Like, you pay attention to what kind of pages get the most likes. You pay attention to what kind of pages generally don't do well. You know, you pay attention to the trends happening on Facebook. So for a while there was a trend of controversial humor pages. So that's when you kind of have to jump onto the trend. Which is why I made the "Let Me Ruin Your Childhood" page, which is now gone because someone stole it. But then Disney pages were a trend for a long time too. So I jumped on that trend and made a good page. And then you can also start your own trends. I guess you could start, like, I started the anti-feminazi page, and then not too long after, more and more starting popping up and became more popular, and it's nice to see them grow. And then Tumblr pages, ironically, started doing really well. Like, you would find good posts on Tumblr, and you'd have the best of Tumblr. You find bad posts on Tumblr, and the worst of Tumblr. Here's a page called the worst of Tumblr. And that did well. So you just gotta pay attention to what's trending and what's doing well. You gotta pay attention to the algorithms of Facebook, because for a while Facebook did a thing where photos themselves would do the best, and then it was text posts themselves would do the best, and then it was videos would do the best. So you gotta pay attention to how they're working, because sometimes they change their algorithm a bit, and you have to just kind of figure out, you know, what's going on, what algorithm is being used, to what's going to be the most, you know, popular type of post to make that will get the most attention. And it's generally now videos do really, really well.
Like, most of my Facebook feed is just all videos. So I'm like, is it like the new YouTube? Because everybody has YouTube or Facebook videos now.
Yeah, they post like Facebook Live and stuff like that.
There is this one, hold on, let's see, because I don't know the reach on it right this moment, but I had one Facebook video that I put up that Fuck Hate did, because I was criticizing them, because, I mean, they were using these girls, claiming they were Girl Scouts, and getting them to say these things. They were brainwashing these little kids. They wanted to indoctrinate them and push their own political views onto them. So I criticized that. And a bunch of boomers found the post and lost their shit. They flipped out on me. Not even Fuck Hate. They thought I was the one who made the video. So I explained that. I was like, actually, I didn't even make it. Like, I'm just criticizing it. And they were like, oh, well, you shouldn't even be posting it. La la la.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what video it was, but I know what you're talking about. I saw that. It was hilarious because they were like, "What? Why are you posting this video?"
It has 436,000 views.
Damn.
And then I have another one where it was feminists calling Mario sexist, and that has 1.2 million views.
Wow.
So yeah, videos do well. Another one of the videos I posted has 62,000 views. So I mean, yeah, videos generally do pretty well. One of the first videos I posted on the page, the Unapologetic.
Oh, looks like you're muted now.
Okay, that was weird. Sorry about that. No, one of the first videos I posted has like 600,000 views. So it depends on what it is, what it's about. I find if it pisses people off, so the VidCon from I think last year, that Instagram model that like bullied the security guard, that one did well. The feminist one did well.
I think I saw it.
And the fuck hate one did well because all of those were videos that made people mad.
That kind of makes sense because people will want to know what's going on when people get outraged about something, especially on Facebook. Like, I feel like that's like drama central. Like, Facebook nowadays is just drama central. I don't know.
Facebook and Twitter. I mean, I've seen more drama on Twitter than Facebook. But then again, it depends on who you follow on Twitter, I guess. Like, my feed, every day, it's new drama. I can't even keep up. I'm just like, what happened now? Like, people like Tonka, I'll see something happen in my feed posted by him, talking about something. I was like, hey, what's the context behind this? Oh, drama. What's going on here? And, like, honestly, if there's drama, I'll usually go to, like, Medicare, or Tonka Soft, because those two people generally know what's going on. They'll be able to sum up what the heck is happening, and I don't have to like go through like millions of tweets trying to figure out what the hell is going on and why my Twitter feed is filled with posts about it.
That's true. That's the one thing about Twitter is like you have to do some digging to figure out what's going on. I don't know. You know what's weird about that? Like, I feel like I post a lot of crazy stuff, but I've never gotten banned or like suspended or anything. I mean, I guess that's a good thing, but I've never been suspended or banned. And a lot of people who I know have been. So I'm like, am I just not being edgy enough? Or like, just people don't want to ban me? I don't know. Nobody reports me, even though I say kind of weird stuff.
I always get targeted.
No, you always get banned or suspended. And I'm like, well, whatever she said is not that like worse than what I said, so I don't understand why she's getting banned.
Because it's about who you piss off. I mean, I piss off a lot of people. Sometimes I'll do it intentionally. I'll piss people off on purpose.
You got permanently banned from your original account, I assume.
Yes, I'm so annoyed.
That is really annoying because you were at 5,000 something.
Yep, and I was like, Twitter's like, LOL, bye. How dare you call someone a Twitter whore and say that they're a joke killer? That is promoting hate and violence.
That's it. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, that was it. I called this Australian chick a Twitter whore. I said, of course, some Twitter whore is a joke killer, was my comment, and yeah, I got banned for promoting hate and violence.
Wow. Okay, I've done stuff like that and never got banned. But I mean, not saying that I'm not grateful, but I can't believe that got you permanently banned. That's insane.
Yeah, it is.
I just like whatever. Like, it was Twitter whore that reported me, and then Mental Midget Destiny laughed about it.
So there was another question on here that was asking you who your favorite YouTuber is.
Who is my favorite YouTuber? Huh.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
I have a lot. That's a very difficult question. I've never had like one singular favorite person on YouTube. I like Bunty. I like Philip DeFranco. I like his videos. His videos are really good. But I mean, everybody assumes that my favorite YouTubers are always going to be political or whatever, and I have to think of the political YouTubers that I follow and stuff. But like, honestly, I follow a lot of singers on YouTube too, like who aren't like mainstream singers. Georgia Mary, who's from the UK. I like her videos. She does Disney medleys and cover songs. But I like her voice. I like how she can voice act too. So I'll say for if as a whole, out of all the people I follow, I'll say her, because I really do like her voice, and I like how she cosplays and dresses up as whatever character she's singing as.
I'll have to check her out because I don't know who that is, but for the record, your speaking voice sounds like you'd be good at singing. So is that true or not?
I have one video of me singing that maybe a couple people have seen because I listed it as private, and actually one of the persons that have seen it is actually in the YouTube chat right now. Just being a little shit.
Well, I guess you're going to have to make that public so we can determine whether that's true or not. Because your speaking voice, because from my experience, people who have a good speaking voice also have a good singing voice.
Oh, well, then I should be a good singer by default. Why?
Well, your speaking voice is not.
Mara seems to want me to remind everybody that white dick is best dick. To just.
Whoa. Oh, this is a good promotion right there, guys. There we go. Promotion of the day. Let me go find that comment.
Just in case you knew which one was going to be your first one, because you're a virgin still. So just in case you knew.
Yeah, virgin, quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote.
I am a virgin. I never had sex. But I know that Mara will probably be the one to be my first, and he happens to be white, so therefore white dick is his best dick.
Yeah, Mara, get ready.
Oh my God.
You're gonna say something like that. Oh yeah.
Half an ethno state.
Gonna make the quappos, right?
I know, right? No, but anyone who's a quarter Asian is being absorbed into the half ethno state. Sorry to tell you, but you're still half Asian, even if you're a quarter Asian, so you're being absorbed.
That's right.
Speaking of that, I mean, this is like a weird time to ask you, but are you free on Saturday?
Yes.
Saturday night?
She's free on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because we're doing another live stream. I need at least 4 people to talk on there. So
okay, that'd be cool. I still have to bring back a few people into a live stream, like Aiden and that girl and you guys again, and have a big stream again, because I feel like I need that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Contact with half the people I had on the stream last time, because I am having my first account got banned.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because like your first account had a lot of like big name followers. I don't know if they follow your second account or not.
Well, I have a few that follow my second account, but like Ian and I are still good friends. Like we talk on Discord and stuff. So he followed me when he found out I got banned. That girl actually ended up finding my account and following me back.
That's good.
Some other people that I DM'd them. I was like, "Yo, I got banned from Twitter." Like toxic femininity, like her. She followed me again. Yeah. I like her.
Have you spoken to her? Because I don't know anything much about her. All I know is that she had one video, basically.
I talked to her sometimes. She seems to be busy, but she's cool. I mean, if you guys want, like, I could see she'd be interested in coming onto one of your streams one day. I don't know if she's into that sort of thing, but I could ask.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Definitely be, because I know she has a lot of more left-wing views.
Right.
We're kind of more in the middle. I don't know about Shane. You're more on the right than I am, I think. But
with what?
I don't know. Pretty much every issue, I think. No, it's funny because I used to be more on the right, but then I kind of got more and more in the center.
So I went the opposite. I went from center left to center to center right to more right. I slowly went more to the right. You can blame Mara for that though, for me shifting more to the right.
Yeah, for me, it kind of just depends, really. It kind of depends issue by issue.
He went from left wing to more right wing. It depends on what test I take for like the political compass thing, though, because sometimes I take the test and it's like you're extremely far right wing, anarcho-capitalist, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then like other tests I take, it's like you're centrist, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like those two tests don't make any sense together. But okay. So I just consider myself more in the middle, I guess. I consider you guys more right wing based on what I've heard.
Oh, about what though?
Well, I guess I'm not sure exactly right now. I have to think about it.
I literally have the microphone right in front of her face, and I'm like, my face is literally right next to her as I'm talking.
Well, we have the good microphone because we're not using the camera. I'm surprised nobody in the chat said anything about us not having the camera on, because usually someone would say something about that.
Yeah, because when Bunty didn't, because he wasn't able to use his camera because I guess he was having some technical difficulties.
Oh, he took like 30 minutes trying to fix the camera.
No, that's what I was saying though. He was having problems, so we just used their camera, so he didn't. But hopefully the next time, if whenever that happens.
Well, are we having a stream with him on? Actually, the funny thing is about Bunty, we're having a stream with him next week. So we're hoping that his camera works.
Yeah, you hear that? We're having a stream with Bunty next week. So there's your announcement, fuckers.
Wow, you're so nice.
I'll ask him if his camera's still broken. Did you fix your camera? Are you gonna have a working camera when you?
I'm gonna see that beard. I'm gonna see him laugh actually, because I don't know. It's funny. It's funny because making people laugh is.
Bunty's laugh is great. I love his laugh.
It's so unique.
Yeah. Well, because when I was saying to Mining Freedom, his laugh and Bunty's almost sound exactly the same.
His laugh is the reason why I originally started following him. I had no clue who he was before. I always see his videos in my feed of just him laughing. I was like, who is this person? And then somehow became friends with Bunty. I don't remember how that happened, honestly. I think he's a really approachable person. That's probably why.
Did you start talking with him on Discord? Is that how?
I think so, yeah. I started talking with him, I think, on Discord. Oh, it was because someone made me a mod of the Discord as a meme or whatever, and then I don't know, I started talking to them more and Bunty more. I'm actually not in his Discord anymore, but yeah, there's a lot of people I genuinely don't know how the hell I became friends with them. It's like, what? You want to be friends with me? Are you sure? Because Bunty is really, 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 really nice, but I'm not all the time. I can be really mean. I have a mean side. No, but people make me so angry. They'll do something stupid or say something stupid. I'm like, you're being stupid. It's like, don't insult me. It's like, well, you're being fucking stupid. No, I'm not gonna be nice to you when you're acting this way.
You can be harsh, which I think is people
not
follow.
Deny that. I will not deny that.
People want to see you be harsh, so that's like a thing.
Yeah, it's like
I used to walk on eggshells. I used to try to avoid upsetting everybody, and then people started becoming upset no matter what I said or how I said it. I was like, you know what? I give up. Fuck you. I'm gonna just start being harsh and mean, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
I think that's a good way to go about it. I mean, I try to be harsh, but apparently I'm still too nice. No, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Because you've gotten in a lot of fights recently that I've seen. I'm like, whoa, okay, well, I didn't even think of that. But
I get riled up. I get aggressive.
At least you're consistent with your points. That's what I like. Like, you're consistent with your logical conclusions.
Yeah, I don't really. I guess it could be good. I guess it could be bad. I'm kind of stubborn.
what would you be stubborn about? Like, what's something that you're really adamant on defending no matter what?
Not tipping American servers. Because oh man, I piss people off all the time. And so there's a lot of Americans that seem to think that waiters and waitresses that they're entitled to tips. That you should be paying them a tip no matter what. And I was like, no, I will not tip them just because they're doing their job. They do not deserve extra money for doing what they're already paid to do. And but they only make $2 an hour. What?
Do they have the same, like, you know, like they pay you a really low rate in Canada, and then like you have to pay money on tips? Is that the same thing or no?
It's not like that, but I looked into this whole American thing because I got tired of people lying to me and trying to guilt trip me, and it turns out that servers in the States, they're making the federal minimum wage regardless if they make tips or not. If they make $0 in tips, their boss is basically obligated to make sure that they're getting the federal minimum wage. So they take their base income and combine it with the tips they earn, and if their base income plus the tips they earn do not equal the federal minimum wage, then their employer, by the federal law, is obligated to make up the difference. If they're not making up the difference, they're breaking federal law, and they're a shitty employer. But no. Either way, they're gonna be making that federal minimum wage, and when I found that, it was like, so why should I tip you? Like, you're still gonna be making that money no matter what. And in fact, when you're making tips, you're exceeding minimum wage generally. Like, I've talked to American kitchen staff who've said, yeah, no, they're making like $30 an hour. That's more than I make. And like, we don't see any of that money. In some states, it's like banned to split the tips or whatever. Like, we can't split them, or like we don't see any of that money. We get paid less than they do when you add their tips, and they still complain. I was like, well, they're making more than we are because of tips. And then they complain and then tried to say that, oh, we're only getting $2 an hour. He's like, well, that's not the kitchen staff that I was speaking to. Well, that's not true. They're getting a lot of money. They're just not telling you that they're making more than the federal minimum wage, which is why their base income's only $2 something an hour because of how much they're making in tips. And if they're making nothing in tips, the employer has to make up the difference, or breaking the federal law.
Well, isn't it that like in Japan it's considered rude if you?
Oh, I know. I've heard stories of people being chased out of restaurants for tipping. I was like, no, because you're insulting them. You're basically telling them, hi, you look poor and ugly. Here's extra money.
That's crazy.
Here's 15% of the fucking bill. You ugly motherfucker.
There's one dude who's like, yeah, I went to Japan and I tipped and they chased me out of the restaurant and yelled at me. And I was like, because you don't tip in Japan. Because the tipping thing is really mostly an American thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
do they have that in Canada at all? Do you know?
You can tip in Canada, but our tipping culture is not like the U.S. Like, there's no people freaking out if you don't tip. It's like not considered like rude to tip, but it's not like a big deal if you don't. Like in the States, like people lose their shit constantly, and no other country understands American tipping culture. We all think it's weird. We all think it's dumb. We all think you should only be tipped if you actually earn it. We don't. Unless you're in Asian countries, I think places. I think it's Ireland, if I'm remembering correctly. It's rude to tip in Ireland too, if I'm remembering right, because I speak to a lot of people from all over the world, so.
Well, I'm gonna stop tipping. So.
Yeah, that'll go down well. The problem is like when you go to somewhere like around here, you go somewhere regularly, and then you don't tip them. Like, it's kind of like awkward.
Because they know, oh, this person isn't gonna give me 15 or 20% of the bill, so fuck them. I'm gonna give them terrible service or something like that.
Like in the U.S., it's kind of like, well, if you're regular here, then now can I go back and like look that person in the face because they're gonna like treat you differently the next time that you come in.
I think if they have that kind of attitude, if they think they're entitled to a tip, they should be jobless. And I don't care if they end up on the streets. I think it's a horrible attitude to have.
How fucking dare you?
I agree with you, but like that's how people think here. Like that's literally how they act when you don't tip them. Well, like
it's just I know some servers will go above and beyond, and you could see they're busting their ass, and I'll tip them. But the ones that do the bare minimum and think that they're entitled to a tip, no, I'm not paying you. I'm not rewarding you for doing a mediocre job. People who do mediocre jobs shouldn't be rewarded. It's dumb, because then they're going to continue to do a mediocre job and never improve, because they're like, well, I'm going to get tipped no matter what, so why should I bust my ass? Why should I work hard when I can get tipped for being mediocre? So I don't tip people who are mediocre.
In a lot of these places around, especially in Dallas, I don't know if it's just like a technology thing or just because we're in like a bigger city or whatever, but now a lot of these places pay with like a tablet, and it will like automatically like ask you like, hey, do you want to add a tip? And it's like, you didn't even bring me my food.
Yeah, I say no tip because fuck you.
Yeah, so then you have to add no tip, and then they see you adding no tip, and then you feel bad, and it's like, this is just like a shame.
I don't feel bad. What if my drink sucks, you piece of shit?
They guilt trip. They guilt trip you. They want you to feel bad for not tipping, because that's the American tipping culture. That's how things are there. And I just
yeah, right.
I'm not saying I never ever tip servers, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna freaking tip them just for doing their job. I think you need to do a bit more. You need to show that you're doing more than just the bare minimum of your job.
Like, you can tell too that they're like you were saying before, that they're busting their ass, they're doing a real hard job. You can tell. You can tell.
And so when I see them actually like going above and beyond, when I see them like not doing this like half-assed mediocre job, I'll tip them, because I feel they deserve it. But the ones who come in here with their sense of entitlement and they think they are owed tips, it's like, no, you can. I don't care. Like, I don't care if you're struggling. I don't care. Like, good. You deserve to struggle. Maybe if you continue to struggle, eventually you'll stop having that sense of freaking entitlement that nobody likes. And I've noticed it's mostly like the younger waiters and waitresses that have this attitude. Like the older ones tend to not have that same sense of entitlement.
Yeah, one of my good friends was talking about, she went to a bar in downtown Dallas, and the waitress was kind of like, well, you're going to have to tip me because it's automatically going to be added anyway. So, like, basically, fuck you. So then she didn't treat them that well the whole night that they were there. And they added the tip on automatically. And then when they asked for a receipt, she wouldn't give it to them. So they ended up calling the manager. But it's like how far is this going to go? Like, this just seems like a scam now. Like some of these places.
I don't believe in forced tipping. I think that is actually like legitimately theft. I'm sorry about the random beeping noise. That would be my alarm. So I'm going to go take care of that quickly so that it does not beep again.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like just a thing around here, but like there's a lot of bars that will automatically add on a 15% tip. If you have like a group of 5 people, they'll add on like a convenience tip or something for having 5 people. Yeah. And it's like, okay, if you were doing that individually, you'd probably get more money than, if you're giving good service, then you'd get pretty good money from each person rather than adding an automatic tip.
I think you got to understand someone else's financial situation, because they're often the waiters and waitresses, they're only thinking of themselves, their own financial situation, whatever it may be, and they disregard the financial situation their customers may be in. Say this couple has been saving up money for a year to be able to go out to a fancy restaurant for their anniversary, and they can only afford to pay for the meal. And they pay for the meal, and they can't afford to leave a tip because they use all the money they saved up specifically for this dinner. And you get this entitled waitress who's like, well, I didn't get a tip, so I'm never going to be nice to these people again. It's like, you don't understand the situation they're in. Say there's someone who is homeless, and they managed to find some nice clothes at a thrift store or whatever. They have a couple of bucks, and they want to eat at a restaurant because they have enough money from whatever they did to get that money, be it begging or, playing a guitar or whatever. And they go to this restaurant, like, I want a nice meal for myself for once because, I don't get that often. And then you get another entitled waitress who's like, well, I didn't get tipped. Like, they're only thinking of themselves and the people that don't tip them, and they get all angry and bitchy, and they make all these assumptions. And I don't think it's really fair. I think you have to look at it at different situations instead of just, your own. How do you know the people how do you know that people can even afford to tip you or give you extra money? Maybe they don't have the extra money to give. I know people who often literally can't afford to tip people for a certain service or whatever that they're being given, that where they rely on tips a lot, or they usually get tips, and it's like they can't do it because they can't afford it. So, like, how are you gonna have that sense of entitlement when not everybody can even afford to tip you? You shouldn't be allowed to make people feel guilty because they're not giving you the money they have that they earned for doing a job you're already paid to do.
Yeah, that's the one thing that conflicts me, because especially at, like, I don't know about the restaurants you go to, but like I go to a lot of Asian restaurants, and the service there just sucks. Like, it just sucks. Like, people don't even care. They'll just be like, what do you want? And then at the end, you're like expected to tip anyway, or in America you are. So then we just feel like we have to tip at least $2 to make it even with the American tipping culture, I guess. So it just feels...
never had bad service where I live at restaurants. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say bad service. Like, sometimes they'll mess up a bit on the orders, but like not an extreme amount. It'll be like minor human mistakes that the cook would make, and I was like, well, like, whatever. Like, it doesn't bug me. Honestly, the people that fuck up the most on orders seem to be, the fast food workers. They just...
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah, fast food workers want $15 an hour for a minimum wage.
Yeah, they're like, I can't even get an order of fries.
$15 American is like close to $20 Canadian. And I'm just like, I can't imagine someone at McDonald's getting paid $20 Canadian an hour. Like, no, you're not. Your job is not worth that much money. It is meant to be a minimum wage job. It is meant to be a starter job. The job was initially like for high school students or young adults, not for other people. Like, I mean, obviously, like, some people want to work up in management at McDonald's. I guess, like, I don't know why you'd want to do that. But you can't. Then they're like, oh, well, we can't afford to live. And meanwhile, they have like 4 kids and a big house and on all this stuff they don't need. It's like, hey, well, no, obviously you're not going to be able to support an entire family off a minimum wage job. You weren't never supposed to be able to do that. It was a bit. Minimum wage jobs are supposed to be able to pay for the minimum amount of stuff you need to survive.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and there's kiosks, like the electronic kiosks that are showing up to kind of
replace people.
Yeah, replace people. And also think of it from a business standpoint, a business model, whatever. If you're paying a worker $15 an hour, that means they have to make up that cost by raising the food prices. Maybe
cutting people's hours.
Yeah, cutting people's hours.
They've literally, I think it's somewhere in California where they have a robot that flips burgers now, and they actually have implemented it in the restaurant. Yes, I'm like,
that's so funny.
You're all losing your jobs, and it's all your fault.
I kind of want to see a video of that.
Actually, you know what? I can probably grab it right now, and I'll send it to you on Facebook. And if you want to, like, I don't know, can you screen share and show people?
I don't know how to do that on
here. Oh, we can try.
Yeah, we can try, but that's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though. It's like one of those machines that makes the cars.
But instead it's flipping burgers, because that's a really hard job.
Well, I mean, it is a hard job. You gotta flip burgers, you gotta flip them to make sure they're cooked right.
You're just saying that because you used to deliver pizza.
Oh yeah, I used to deliver pizza.
At one point.
With tips! I used to get tips!
You know what? I will always tip delivery drivers because A lot of the time they're actually using their own cars.
This is true.
B, obviously there's a lot of maintenance and they're going to need gas money. And C, they're actually driving from a restaurant and delivering it all the way to your house. Like, they're going out of the way to deliver food to your house. They deserve to be tipped.
Wakarimashita.
You understand that, right?
But
it's funny because we know more. It's funny because, well, first of all, I'm not even Korean or Japanese or anything like that. And he's not Japanese, but for some reason we know more Japanese than our like native quote unquote languages.
Kure.
That's Korean. Just stop it. Stop trying.
I have sent you the video of the burger flipping robot. It is a CNN link. I apologize. I grabbed the first one I saw that showed the video, but
I am going to airdrop this to my computer so that I can.
I think there's a video attached to this.
Oh, CNN, fake news, fake news.
There is a video attached. Okay, good. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a video attached. Where's the video? It's in the link. It's the robot's name is Flippy. Isn't that cute?
Oh,
wait, not that.
Yeah, not my phone. No one drop it to my phone.
Drop it to the computer.
Airdrop to the motherfucking
I
computer.
don't know how to screen share on. Well, we'll figure it out. Wait. How do you? This is how not Asian we are. We don't know how to.
No, it's funny. It's kind of funny that we're doing it like this because it kind of shows the spontaneity of our.
I don't have a.
We are presenting to everyone. I don't know. Can you see our screen?
I can't, but it might be an issue with mobile. You might want to see if the chat can, if they can see your screen right now, because they might be able to.
The chat, if we can.
Oh, now I can. There it is.
Oh, you can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then probably the chat can see it.
Can you see the mouse move?
Yeah, I can see the mouse move.
Yay! Okay.
There's the video. It will.
All right, here we go.
Will they be able to hear the sound though, unless you put the microphone there?
They can see it.
When you want to get away,
here's an ad.
Hey, GSW.
We gotta listen to this ad first.
Amazing how easy it is to win big just driving.
Let's let everyone know about Oklahoma.
Now let them.
Here we go. Here we go, everybody. This is the first video. That's too loud?
People said they can hear me, or they can see it.
Okay.
I like how it's wearing a chef uniform.
I like how it's flipping them really slow. Like, I gotta make sure it's right every time.
Alright, the music is so hip and cool.
I know, right? I like the music too. Yeah. Oh yeah, that lady's like, I tried. Fuck them Marcos.
How do they know when it's ready to flip?
Why am I not surprised?
It says it uses 3D optics and thermal images or whatever to know when to flip the burgers and when they're done. But yeah, they'll be losing their jobs. This is what you get for demanding $15 an hour. So
yeah, $15 an hour. Now it's just computers flipping burgers based on algorithms. It's funny.
Yeah.
Cali burger.
Yeah, like I was saying before, I'm not surprised that that's in California because they're like, oh my god, it's really cool. The machines for my burger.
California is where the highest demands for, I think, $15 an hour was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like my sister has like one of her best friends. I know it's always my sister. Has a best friend in California, and when she was working her job in Pennsylvania, he was like, wait, what? The minimum wages isn't $15 an hour? And she's like, no, it's like $7.50. And he's like, that's like less than what I'm making right now, just doing work at, I think he was working at In-N-Out or something like that. And she was like, really? Yeah, and so and then I was trying to explain to her like the difference between that and California, and
yeah, because the living wages over, the living wages in California is different than here in Texas. Obviously, it's more expensive there. So obviously, personally, there shouldn't even be a minimum wage. What do I know? I'm dumb. So
that's a libertarian thing. Pay people based on what they're worth.
I mean, come on. Who in the right? I mean, seriously, you go to work somewhere and they're gonna be like, you know what? I'm not gonna pay you anything. Well, fuck you. I'm not working for you. So, I mean, come on. What dummy is gonna work for someone for free? Come on.
Well, there's volunteer work, and volunteer work looks good on your resume, which you'd get.
Well, that's different in terms of like you're actually wanting a living wage. You're not gonna go, hey, I want to work for you, and they're gonna, you know what? Oh, I'm gonna pay you nothing. Well, guess what? I'm not working for you because I need a living wage, and they need the worker, so they're gonna have to pay you something, So to have like a minimum wage of $7 or whatever it is, I mean, $15 is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. Exactly, Loaded Boomstick. Free market decides. Thank you. I love you.
I pissed off a bunch of socialists earlier because I said that poor people aren't entitled to the money of rich people. And they think that rich people should be, obligated to take care of the poor. It's like, no, it's their money. Theirs. Sorry, there's people struggling.
You're right.
But
you're right. You're right though. I'm gonna stop tipping because I don't know. You made a good point. Oh, hey, if they're obligated to make their money because of federal regulations, whatever. I mean, now
that is a really good point.
Yeah, because of regulations. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna give you $5. I mean, like you were saying before, if they gave me exponential, like amazing, like wow, you did like a really good job, I'm gonna tip you. But if you're just like, here's your food, fuck you, have a nice day, hope you fucking die, hope you fucking burn and crash in a fucking car crash, your head gets chopped off. Well, fuck you, I didn't do shit.
Like sometimes the bosses break the federal law though, and if they don't pay or they'll be a little shit and they'll fire the person. But I mean, like at the end of the day, it's really disingenuous to say that they don't even make minimum wage, because they do. It's just they're not going to make the minimum wage and on top of $100 worth of tips. Because that's exceeding the federal minimum wage. If they're making like $100 in tips per hour, they're
$100 in tips. How dare you?
Like if you're making $100 in tips, then you're making, I guess, more than. I mean, I know that like being a server is kind of more of a physical job or like an exhausting job because you have to talk to people face to face, but. Right. Still, that's like more than most people with a career make.
$100 in tits? How dare you?
Tips.
How dare you?
Unless you work at Hooters or Twin Peaks or what's that other place? There's another place in Dallas. I don't remember what it's called.
Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
$100 in tits.
That's why I was very I guess upset when Owen Benjamin wanted to go to this is before he was popular. He wanted to go to Twin Peaks, and I was like, motherfucker, do I have to go to Twin Peaks? And then like,
who's that?
Yeah, Owen Benjamin.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then but we wanted to get like a picture with him, so we're like, motherfucker, now we have to follow you into Twin Peaks. This is great. But thankfully my top broke off, so it worked out.
Yeah. So people apparently want Leaf to spaz. They want her to spaz out and get and.
It looks like she's been muted or something.
Uh-oh.
Leaf?
Are you there?
Hello?
Oh no. Oh my god. Technical issues. So funny we have these technical issues while we're.
Well, that was before.
In the stream. No, it's fine. Oh, it's from okay.
That was a couple of minutes ago.
But what's an issue in your opinion that like what's something that makes you go crazy like no matter what? Like someone says something and you're just like, I can't.
Oh wait. Technology issues, sorry.
Uh-oh. Stand by. Oh, now it's okay. We're okay. Oh my God. I know, madness. Technical difficulties. We always have technical difficulties.
Hey, this time it's not our fault.
Hey,
so don't blame
you know
us.
what, madness though? You know what's funny? Oh. We're synonymous with technical difficulties. So I don't know. Maybe that's that's her thing.
It's weird because she said
false things.
She's going to rejoin, but she's already here. So does she have to log off and then rejoin?
Yeah, she tries to end it and then join again.
Waiting. We are waiting for your voice.
So does anybody have questions while we're waiting for Leaf to join us?
I mean, questions about her, questions about us.
Yeah, anything. Does any like legit questions?
Questions about
not
life.
Bullshit questions.
No, you can ask bullshit questions.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you can ask bullshit questions. Here we go.
You can ask me like questions that don't make any sense.
Yeah, go. Okay, I'm waiting. Yeah, Canadian internet. I know, right? Net neutrality, am I right?
Net neutrality is not in Canada.
Okay, I popped for that. My phone died. I didn't that really because it's kind of a messed up phone and a messed up charger.
Okay,
so
now I have to ask you, what kind of phone do you have?
What? Oh, I have two phones. I have an iPhone, which is what I'm using for the
you have
stream.
Two phones? Sorry.
Yeah, well, I have three. I actually have more than three.
Jesus Christ, Leaf! Why do you have so many phones?
I have an iPhone 4S, which I don't use. I have an iPhone 5S, which is broken. I have an iPhone 6, which is the iPhone I'm using right now to talk to you guys, and then I have an Android phone that Mara bought for me.
Android phone? How dare?
Okay, so we actually do have questions in the chat.
Okay.
One is asking us, what are you doing for Cinco de Mayo?
Okay, that's racist.
I'm gonna stay at home and probably pester the dude I'm with a bit, Mara. I'm gonna pester him and demand that we watch movies together, like always. It will be just like any other day. I'll just pester him for more attention than usual, probably.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know. Well, we were gonna go to San Antonio for Cinco de Mayo, but I'm just like, that's 7 hours away. That's so much driving. Let's just stay here and do.
We're probably gonna film a video for Cinco de Mayo, cultural appropriation and shit. So.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is, it's so like you'd think it'd be easy to find a sombrero in Texas, but no, it's like really hard. I've been to like 3 stores already. I can't find a fucking sombrero. I can't find like anything Mexican other than like beer and chips. That's basically it.
Yeah, it's all right though.
If we really want to offend people, you gotta get one of them ponchos too. Go all out.
Oh my God. I saw that on Amazon, but it's $40, and I'm like, do I want to spend $40 just to?
Yeah, for like 1 hour that we're gonna use it, and then we'll never use it ever again.
I bet my parents will like it because they're.
Okay, so we have another question. Actually, it's a pretty good question. What's the best rice cooker? Because we're all half Asian.
If you use a rice cooker, you are banned from the Hapa ethno state. I cook my rice in a pot. My rice in a pot.
No, that is a Hispanic thing. No. That's a Hispanic thing.
Uh-oh. We have a fight.
You cook your rice. No, I've watched enough cooking shows with Asian judges and Asian cooks to know that they're often shocked when people cook rice outside of how to cook rice out of a rice cooker, as like I do. I cook it in a pot because the rice cookers, they burn the rice. They make it less tasty. You can't get super fluffy rice using a rice cooker because you can't control the temperature.
So
in a rice cooker.
okay, so we're talking about rice and we're cooking rice. So how do you cook the rice in a pot? Since we're both dummies here and we don't know what to do in terms of cooking rice.
I know rice in a pot.
Okay, so I'm the dummy here.
Don't insult me.
Okay, I'm the dummy here.
So if you do the typical measurements, like you take 1 cup of rice and have 2 cups of water, whatever. Now, sometimes if you want to add salt to the water, you can add a bit of salt. Sometimes if you want to add a bit of butter to the water, you can add a bit of butter because that will help with the rice getting fluffy.
I'm sure you're not half Mexican.
No, I don't know. No, I'm not Mexican, but no, you boil. You bring the rice to a boil, and then once the rice is at a boil, you simmer it for I'll say 15-ish minutes, and just let it simmer until all the water is gone, and yeah, that's it. It's really easy to just boil rice in a pot instead of using a rice cooker that makes the rice less fluffy and
use
sometimes
Japanese
burns it.
or jasmine rice.
Oh yeah, what kind of rice do you use?
I like jasmine rice. That's
so good.
There you go. Awesome.
That's
the correct answer.
That's something we should talk about on the Hapa Ethnos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I think jasmine rice is, even though I really like Japanese and Korean rice, I still think jasmine rice is just better in general. Like it goes with everything and it doesn't feel heavy when you eat with it. I don't know. That's just my opinion. So I'm glad that you cook jasmine rice.
I love jasmine rice. Did you know that there was like this green rice? I didn't know that until I watched this cooking show, and there's like this green rice.
Okay, I knew about you know about the Korean purple rice, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know there was a green rice. What the hell is that?
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I can't remember the name of it right now. It slips my mind.
Yeah,
how can it be green?
I'm half Korean, and I didn't even know that there was purple rice because the first time I knew about Korean rice is the purple Korean rice. Because we went to a Korean restaurant and they gave us purple rice. I was like, what the fuck?
For some reason, I indoctrinated.
So it's I think I don't know. It seems to be a type of Mexican rice.
Wow.
And it's green. The best kind of rice though, if you're not looking for, aside from jasmine rice, is freaking wild rice. I love raw wild rice. Wild rice is so good.
Like a basmati rice?
It's like, I think it's a combination of like different types of rice, if I'm remembering correctly. I know it tastes really good though. It's really tasty. It has a lot of good flavors. I remember eating a bunch of the free samples of wild rice once. Yeah, it's okay. So it's saying it's like it's 4 species of grasses, and then it's gathered. It says the specific grain that can be harvested from them. It's gathered and eaten in North America, India, and China.
So let's see here. In the chat, Kumara says Leaf is obsessed with cooking. Is that true?
Yes, I love to cook.
Well, then we can talk about cooking. What type of cooking do you mostly do? Like, in terms of like cuisine?
I cook a lot of Italian food, and I cook a lot of Greek food. Honestly,
Italian food. Next time, if we ever meet each other, you should cook me some Italian food.
Do you cook Italian food because you like Italian food or because you're cooking for someone else?
I like Italian food. I cook for other people all the time. So generally whatever I like, they'll like. So I cook a lot of Italian. I make sushi too when I feel like it.
I used to, it's funny because I used to, like with my friends, we used to hold like sushi parties and then we would make sushi ourselves. Is that kind of like, did you ever used to do something like that where you make sushi with other people, or did you
I just do it all myself. Nobody helps me. I just all by myself. I just honestly half the time I just go with the lazy sushi, which is similar to a lazy cabbage roll. It's where you put the cucumbers in like a single layer at the bottom of a casserole dish, and then you just add the layers of the sheets, the rice, the crab meat or whatever meat you want to use, or the fish, like whatever you want to use, you just layer it, and then when you flip it over, it's this nice little like compressed, I guess, perfectly formed like square, and then you just cut it to however big a piece you want.
Okay, that's a lot different than how I did it. But someone in the chat was like, "Is this girl half Korean?" No, she is half Japanese.
Yeah, half Japanese.
About me, I'm half Filipino Chinese, so that's different also.
I'm half Korean.
The only half Korean here is Shane.
I'm about as white as, well, you know.
It's funny because, yeah, he acts super white sometimes. Like, I had to teach him how to use chopsticks. That's how sad it is. I use chopsticks all the time.
I was taught how to use chopsticks when I was little.
So was I, and it's weird because I don't think a lot of like Filipino Chinese families do that, but that was like one of the things I was taught how to do when I was younger. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We already said what brand of hot bus she is. We said she's half Japanese. Fuck.
Okay, what's your white side
though? European.
I'm gonna guess that
My dad is half Irish, and I don't know what his other half is. It was a combination of, I think, German and something else.
Have you ever thought, like, because I've thought about doing this before, have you ever thought about doing the like the genetic tests where they like pinpoint like which?
Thought about it up until I heard that some of them were faking the results, and then I don't really trust that anymore.
Wait, who was?
There was, I think, 1, 2, 3, and me, or something like that. It's basically, they said, well, we have these white people come in, and sometimes we'll tell them that they're part black just to piss them off.
Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I've seen people do that test, and now I'm kind of scared that now that you said that. Because what if it comes back and I'm like completely
you're black or something?
Some other race that I'm not even like. Because I know I'm related to King Macbeth, and I'm related to Lapu Lapu, and it's like, oh no, you're actually like South African and Egyptian. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, they could just lie about anything then. I don't know. Now you're making me scared. Thanks.
So I want to know what Mara is like. I want to know what white is. I'm gonna guess he's Italian.
He is Celtic and a little bit of French.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
French. I know a lot of French cooking.
S'il vous plaît. Oh yeah. Je m'appelle.
French cooking is good.
He doesn't know any French, and every time I speak French to him, he calls me a frog.
Well, that's too bad.
Turning the frogs gay.
Whenever he calls me a frog, I just ribbit at him.
All right.
Okay, let's not turn this into.
Gonna turn the frogs gay.
Yeah, Alex Jones style.
I fucking love. I know that he's like crazy or whatever, but I fucking love that guy. When he was making fun of Ben Shapiro, I'm sorry, but that was great. I don't even care.
He's like the greatest meme online.
Ben Shapiro was so short. He's so tiny. He's a tiny man. I like Ben Shapiro, but he's short.
How short is he? Like,
he's like 5'4".
What's his height?
5'4".
Is it really 5'4"?
I'm pretty sure it is something like that.
He's, oh my god! Like, wait, okay. How tall are you?
He's not as short as Destiny. How about that? He's taller than Destiny. I know that. I know he's taller than that freaking mental midget.
Mental midget.
So I'm just maybe a little bit over 5 feet tall. So that's kind of sad that he's 5'4". I don't know. Wait.
I'm 5'1" forever and always, and I want to die.
5'1". Yeah,
I shop for clothing at like teenager stores because adult clothing doesn't fit me.
Yeah, that's like you.
I know, me too. And I don't know about you, but I can fit into a lot of the kids' clothing at like H&M.
I can too.
I could see you shopping.
I have a Chinese dress, and I can still fit into it. And I bought that when I was in grade 7.
Man, I wish that you lived near us, because then we can go shopping together. We can go shopping in the kids section. And I wouldn't feel like so alone.
That was so funny watching two shop. Oh my god, we're going to the kids section. I'm like, hey, bye.
Yeah. I don't know, like the one thing about the kids section in some of these stores is they have some of the exact same styles that they have in like the teen and or adult sections, but it's like $10 cheaper.
Yeah, it's so much cheaper. And when you buy kids' clothes, they don't make you pay taxes.
Oh my god, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true.
We're gonna have to
in certain states for here.
We're gonna have to make a trip to Canada sometime, because we're thinking about doing that sometime.
Well, we were visiting Bunty, but then we were looking at flights and they were ridiculously expensive. Like $400 a person. So
yeah, I need a passport.
I have a passport.
Of course you
what's
do.
wrong with you? Yeah, I live in other countries. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, that's true. So.
But anyway, if you ever tell us what province you live in, then we'll come visit you.
I will DM that to you. The specific city, but I'm not giving that out to.
Yeah.
And
Probably a good idea.
There's a few people who know, like, but I've been friends with them for like years and years and years, with the exception of like Mara. Like, it's almost been a year, but no, he knows what city I live in and stuff like that. But he's gonna keep his mouth shut because he's a good boy. He doesn't blab personal information.
Isn't his profile picture of Shiva? So that makes sense.
It's a doggo.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
Yeah, we won't blabber like some other people. Oh, guess what? We know where she lives. Oh.
Yeah, but anyway.
I just got called 5'1" of rage, like a toy poodle that wants to bite your ankle.
Well, that makes sense. I guess
I'd probably rip your throat out before biting your ankles, but okay, I'll take that.
All right. So we've been going for 2 hours, and that's pretty ridiculous. Because usually we try to do the stream for about maybe an hour and a half. It depends, because sometimes we do it for an hour. It depends on who we're talking to. But
yeah, it depends on like what the schedule is. But usually we do an hour to an hour and a half. So yeah.
Yeah. So.
But we'll
I guess we had a lot to talk about this time.
Yeah, I know. That's a good thing. So
we have been planning this for quite some time.
That is true.
I know. We've been planning this, and like some people don't understand, but we've been planning this
before the channel even existed.
Yeah, for like 6 months or before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now.
And then it kept getting rescheduled because like random things came up. Like, oh, I got told last minute that we'd be out of the city for 3 days, and then on the third day I was supposed to go back. By the way, you're staying here for the rest of the week. I was like,
Oh my god, I was so jealous of you when you sent me that message. I was like, oh my god.
I was at a really, really nice resort. I chilled there. There's an outdoor hot tub. There's a lot of nice scenery out there, like a lot of really nice lakes. A lot to do.
Were like amazing.
I went to a spa for the first time in my life, and I went in a mineral pool, and that was nice. It was so nice and relaxing. I want to go back there. Maybe not the spa because the spa is kind of expensive, but to the resort, which is also expensive. Like it's like for the best cabin or chalet, it's like $5,000 a week. For one of the cheaper chalets, it's like $2,700 a week.
Wow. Well, I want to do the same thing, but maybe in a different country, so it's like more affordable.
Yeah.
Because that sounds insanely.
This is Canadian dollars, though, so your dollars
but still,
are worth
in
more.
American dollars, that's still a couple grand.
Yeah.
Like that's insane.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you're pretty lucky there. But anyway, so I guess we'll conclude the stream.
Yeah.
But if you wanna plug any of your Facebook page or your Twitter to build your Twitter back up, or
you can follow me. My new Twitter handle is totally not the Unapologetic Canadian or @punishedleaf. And my Facebook page is the Unapologetic Canadian, which I don't really post on much because I have a new page I'm working on called The Worst of Twitter. I'm bringing Twitter to the Facebook people that are not on Twitter. All the worst tweets you can think of, they will be there. So if you want to follow that page, that'd be cool. And I also admin a page called Social Justice Warriors. Kind of been neglecting that too. But I think we were past 50,000 followers now. Haven't really looked for some time. If you want to follow that page, you can. And that's all I have to plug. That's all I have to shill. I'm done shilling.
If you could link us to those other 2 pages that you talked about, that would be great, because I haven't heard of that one, or the Twitter one, especially because that sounds like Bundy's Twitter numbnuts, but like perpetually.
Oh, actually, that's what inspired me to finally make the page, was Bunty's videos. When did I make this page? Let's see. I made it in November, and it's almost at 11,000 followers right now. So,
wow,
doing good.
Now you're gonna have to help us with that, our Facebook.
Facebook page. Legit. Like, we're legit going to. We need you to help us, because we literally, I think I have maybe 27 likes on the Facebook page.
I know, but we barely post.
Yeah, we barely post.
You gotta be active. You gotta be very, very active if you want more people. But I can help you, sure. Why not?
Yeah. But yeah, we actually just passed 600 subscribers on YouTube, so that's a big thing for us.
Oh, I just looked at the Social Justice Warrior page. We're getting close to 60,000 followers. We're at 57,000 right now. So
nice.
It's interesting.
Awesome. But yeah, you can follow us on our Twitter pages, Petite Mikoko for her and Shane Scout for me. It'll all be in the description. Again, our Facebook page will be down there. And you can also give us a donation at Patreon, patreon.com/Hapa Supremacy. You can give us at least $1. We have some great tiers there if you want to have some exclusive content. We're going to be uploading some exclusive content up there pretty soon, because we already have some planned for it. So don't worry.
We'll have some stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, we'll go ahead and end it. Thank you so much, Lee. We really appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll see you at the Hop at the State live stream Saturday.
Okay, well, have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Great. Bye.
Bye.